Hey everyone! Many husbands fail to comply with child or spousal maintenance orders issued by the family justice courts after a divorce, creating financial and emotional distress for their ex-wives and children. While most men and women can be ordered to pay maintenance, it is far more common for husbands to bear this responsibility. The reasons behind non-compliance vary, ranging from financial difficulties to intentional defiance. Some genuinely struggle to keep up with payments due to job loss, business failure, or overwhelming debt. Others refuse to pay out of resentment, believing the order is unfair or that their ex-wives should become financially independent. Many assume that non-payment carries no real consequences, especially if their ex-wives do not take immediate legal action. Misunderstandings of legal obligations is another factor, as some husbands wrongly believe that maintenance payments automatically stop when their child turns 18 years old, even though the law provides for continued support under certain circumstances, such as when the child is still in tertiary education. A more concerning reason for non-payment is spite. Some husbands deliberately withhold maintenance knowing that their ex-wives have little to no means of supporting themselves. They see non-payment as a way to exert control, particularly in cases where the wife was financially dependent during the marriage. The intention is not just to avoid financial responsibility, but to make life difficult for the ex-wife. Others use maintenance payments as a bargaining chip, intentionally delaying or withholding payments to pressure their ex-wives into concessions on other post-divorce matters. This could include demanding greater access to the child, coercing the ex-wife into dropping other legal claims, or pushing her to accept a lower maintenance amount out of financial desperation. This is an abuse of the system and places undue financial stress on the recipient. Singapore law takes a firm stance on the enforcement of maintenance orders. Under the Women's Charter, failing to comply with a court-ordered maintenance payment is a legal breach. This applies to both spousal and child maintenance, and a husband who wishes to alter or amend or vary his obligations must make a formal court application for variation rather than unilaterally ceasing payment. There are several legal consequences for breaching a maintenance order. The recipient may file an enforcement of maintenance order application in the family justice courts, compelling the husband to make immediate or structured payments. The court can also issue an attachment of earnings order, requiring the husband's employer to deduct maintenance payments directly from his salary. In cases of continued non-compliance, the court can authorize the seizure and sale of assets such as bank accounts, property, or vehicles to recover the unpaid amounts. The law also allows for financial penalties, including interest charges on overdue maintenance. Now, listen carefully. Persistent non-payment can lead to imprisonment of up to 1 month for each month of unpaid maintenance. That means you can go to jail for not paying child or spousal maintenance. However, serving a jail term does not absolve the defaulter of the debt, the amount that he has to pay. He remains legally obligated to pay the outstanding amounts after he comes out from jail. Additional repercussions include travel restrictions, preventing defaulters from leaving Singapore, and damage to their credit scores, which may hinder their ability to obtain loans or other financial services. Despite these enforcement mechanisms, there are practical challenges in ensuring compliance. Many ex-wives face difficulties in repeatedly going to court to enforce payments, often resulting in financial strain and emotional stress. Some men attempt to circumvent their obligation by hiding assets, transferring wealth to relatives, or keeping earnings in offshore accounts. While imprisonment of the husband is a deterrent, it does not necessarily help the wife receive the money she needs in a timely manner. There have been discussions about introducing a maintenance enforcement agency in Singapore, similar to child support enforcement agencies in other jurisdictions, which would proactively track payments and take immediate action against defaulters without requiring the wife to initiate legal proceedings repeatedly. The question remains whether the current legal framework is sufficient or if additional measures are necessary to prevent maintenance defaulters from exploiting legal loopholes. Some argue that stricter penalties and more efficient enforcement mechanisms should be introduced to protect vulnerable ex-wives and children from financial hardship. Others believe that the existing laws, if enforced properly, provide adequate recourse for recipients. Regardless of the approach, it is crucial to recognize that maintenance is not a privilege but a legal obligation. Failing to comply with a court order not only harms the recipient but also undermines the integrity of the legal system. Addressing this issue requires a balance between strong enforcement and ensuring that defaulters have the means to fulfill their obligations. Thanks for tuning in today. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.